What's going on? I have been working out for about 3 years and I've seen an interesting shift in my mentality and what I've been open to as far as fitness goes. So let me explain. When I first started fitness, I started solely to just get jacked. That's all it was. And that's how it is for a lot of people. You start and you have some physique in mind. You might be skinny, self-conscious, whatever, until you go to the gym. Cool. And then about a year or so in, I gained so much confidence in myself, which was an incredible byproduct. And another byproduct was that I started to simply like working out. When you stack up so many days of going to the gym, you end up being more comfortable going to the gym than not going. And so that's where I've gotten, and I'm incredibly thankful and happy that it's become that. But it's changed so much since when I started. When I first started, it was only bodybuilding. It was, what's the most optimal thing I can do? 3 hours in the gym, crushing protein, eating a bunch of food, doing all of the things that traditional or whatever was trending as far as bodybuilding went. And then there was a shift where I started doing jujitsu. I think this was the main spark. I started doing jujitsu because I was like, okay, I'm regarded as big, but I know just from watching UFC and being sort of entertained by that stuff, I realized that I cannot fucking fight. And the whole reason I got into that, I didn't want to have a false sense of confidence that I could beat somebody up. And I always thought it was cool to be able to know how to fight, defend yourself, whatever. So I started going to jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I don't do MMA, whatever. I could still beat someone untrained in a fight. Okay, I can confidently say that. Now, when that happened, I realized that my muscle didn't really mean anything anymore. I was like, yeah, cool. I can lift weights. When I come in here, I get my ass kicked all the time. So there was this shift in my consciousness where I realized muscle doesn't really matter. And I'm not trying to be Ronnie Coleman or a professional bodybuilder. So when that happened, I started eating healthy. Again, when I went into jiu-jitsu, I was completely bulked up, 200 pounds, and I shifted it. I shifted my workouts as well. So instead of going to the gym for 3 hours and trying to get as big as humanly possible, I started going to the gym and simplifying my workouts. So I did those simple, basic movements that have always worked. Dips, pull-ups, bench press, rows, barbell rows, squats, just the bread and butter that everyone knows is good. And I was working out in my garage gym for a while, and I became perplexed by the idea of being well-rounded instead of just a muscly dude who does bodybuilding. And so I started stretching, and the big thing was that I started eating healthy. So I started eating just a bunch of meat, can't go wrong with that, and not as much carbs, and started feeling better, started being able to move better, and started getting way more flexible. And now, the big theme here is that I've begun to take interest in all forms of fitness. So the other day, for example, I did a kettlebell workout. I think that's sick. I'm not trying to do hardcore kettlebell only training, but I experiment. I did a 6-week calisthenics only challenge because I think calisthenics is really good. Did that. Learned. It's just all about learning. There just comes a point in your fitness journey where it's interesting to try new things. And there's some people who get stuck in the bodybuilding thing for years and years and years and constantly go through these cycles of maybe changing their intensity, changing their split, whatever. And they're not well-rounded. They're just meatheads, really. So I feel like I escaped that through jiu-jitsu. And now I'm flexible. I'll experiment with kettlebells. I'll experiment with body weight exercises. And I have this fun mix of experimentation and trying things that I normally would not. Excuse me. And that makes working out really fun. And it also makes you a well-rounded fitness connoisseur. Okay. So don't be afraid to try stuff is my thing. Especially if you look at fitness as a long-term endeavor. I see it as something that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I've personally got time. And I know that nothing's going to hurt because I'm going to be working out every single day forever. So I have time to try stuff that's unique. If I want to do a kettlebell workout, cool. If I want to do calisthenics workout, cool. That's fun. It's fun to be well-rounded. And people are very, very afraid of that. So I would say if you're new, don't be afraid to branch out and stop taking it so seriously. As long as you have the consistency component, you're going to progress in so many ways. I also wouldn't niche down to really any facet of fitness. I think everyone should try everything. I do think that I like looking like I work out though, which some disciplines do not have that, you know? I don't like how wow, I'm about to crash here. Cool, made it. I don't like how if you just train kettlebells, you might not actually change your body all that much. I think you should have some fruits of your labor and a lot of disciplines, calisthenics, bodybuilding, obviously, powerlifting. A lot of them you will have physical changes, but I don't think people would really work out if it didn't make you look better. That's just key. You deserve that. So work out, do what works best for you. Don't be afraid to branch out. Peace. Oh, real quick. If you have trouble staying consistent, if you have trouble staying consistent, I've got a free 7-day routine rewire where I will coach and give you my premium coaching package for 1 week. It's literally free. And so if you're curious about it, there's a link in the pinned comment. And in worst case scenario, you get a free week of momentum towards your fitness journey. If you do want to work with me, that's cool, but it's there for you. And so try it out if you want. Peace.